Welcome back. This is episode 2 of the Divine Masculine series, The Real Shift Happening in Men. So if you haven't seen episode 1, pause here, go back and see episode 1. I really want you to see these in order because they build off each other. I'm dropping them in order with some days between them, so it should not come up confusing on YouTube. We'll see. So last episode we got into, are we confused? Or are we liberated? Because the energies coming through the divine masculine can make them feel both at the same time. But that brings us to the fact that their old identities no longer feel like themselves, but their new identities are still forming. They're in the in between. So their old identities were based on survival, not living. They were taught to be strong and never soft, be calm, never expressive, provide but never need, protect but never be open, push down everything into their being and never speak their truth, don't show pain, fear, uncertainty, and never lose control. That has been the overarching manipulative lessons that we as a culture have taught our young boys, young men, grown men. It's the standard that we hold them to, and it is all based on lies. So when the awakening energies come up, that's why they feel so unsettled, because it's completely different from anything that they've experienced, but it also feels better than what they know. That's what keeps them there, pondering. But that increased pressure to mature and balance their energy, they don't know what to do with that. It does increase. And so it makes things feel exacerbated, but they just don't know what to do with it. So they literally are kind of like walking blind. Now, the old self no longer feels right. It doesn't feel like the patterns that they had now fit who they are energetically. Their ego is going to keep telling them, yeah, this is what we do. We do this all the time. You're just confused because your ego does not want you to evolve out of being manipulated. That's where the ego has its power. You have to hush your ego up. You really don't need your ego and to ascend. Your ego is a friction creator. It gives you opportunities to evolve beyond, but your ego is going to be really big until you hush it, put it in the back seat. But it wants you desperate. It wants you polarized. It wants you pinging off of not knowing where you're going because you're looking for help all the time. And your ego is right there to go, do what makes me feel good. Let's just do what makes me feel good right now. Not what's better for us long term. That's not fun. Let's just do what makes me feel good right now. That's your ego. But the old masculine performance that you've been doing for however long you've been doing it, it just feels more and more fake. You no longer resonate with that. You want real and you want to be real, but you have to give yourself permission to go there, right? If you're putting on a performance, but you want to attract your real divine feminine, that's not going to happen. That's completely different frequencies because you are exhibiting a frequency that is less than authentic and genuine, but yet you want to attract her. And while you're still there, she's going to be hands off. The new identity that is trying to be formed creates chaos because you have to sort through the old, the shadows, and the new with the light. But it pushes you toward being emotionally honest, allowing your depth of character, true connection, presence over performance, authenticity, embodied strength. So this isn't like how much can you bench press. This is true embodied energetic strength in the moment. Truth before performing and vulnerability without shame. The lack of language to support this causes a confidence problem. If a man can't say this is why I'm doing what I'm doing when someone says, "Hey man, you're not acting like yourself," then they feel like they don't have permission to keep doing it. And it's so kindergarten, but it's true. They want to be able to explain it because they know they're going to be questioned. They know they're going to be pressured. They know they're going to be judged. They need to be able to defend themselves. But what are they going to say? I can't do what I used to do. It doesn't feel like myself. That's going to send up a red flag. Maybe. Maybe you have people around you that are very compassionate and kind. I hope so. You can also say, I feel like I'm changing and I'm just trying to see where it takes me. That's a very true statement and very innocent. And if someone judges you for that, that's a them problem, not a you problem. And that's where I would draw the line. Look, I'm allowing myself the space to grow out of the box that I've been put in, and that's okay. And if you don't have, if you have a problem with that, that's your issue to come to terms with. But the emotional shifting back and forth can be disorienting. So in the limbo, most men feel disoriented. They don't know which end is up. They get irritable because of that, and they get moody and they get quiet and withdrawn and they have self-doubt. They get silent, they get frustrated, they become overwhelmed, and they feel the emotional whiplash going back and forth. They like knowing what to expect in their old self, but their old self doesn't feel like them now. And they haven't mastered their new self. And so they don't know what to expect. And that in between drives them nuts. They like to know because they've been taught to think linearly instead of going with the flow. We have to normalize going with the flow instead of forcing things. If you have to force something, it's not for you. But this phase does look like losing control. What he feels is unanchored, untethered, ungrounded, unrecognizable, insecure, exposed, vulnerable, and that he's failing. All of his biggest fears is what he feels because he doesn't have stable footing yet. He feels like he needs to man up, but whenever he goes back to those old habits, that doesn't feel right either. He feels like he no longer knows the rules of the game. The rules of the game have changed. And his inner compass is just spinning. He can't find his magnetic north anymore. That's okay. That's okay. If you feel that way, I want you to stop right now, pause the video or take it with you on your phone, go outside and put your feet on the ground. Find the dirt, the mud, the sand, the grass, the moss, whatever it is, put your feet on the ground. You can use concrete if it hasn't been sealed, but try to find some green grass and ground your energy. I promise you, this is the good thing for you. So you need to pull back energy of chaos in order to transform. You have to transmute that chaos that it works for you instead of against you. And we all have to do that. But in becoming withdrawn and quiet, let's use that to our advantage. This is our isolative phase. This is where we become introspective. We don't want to be around anyone because they expect us to be who we were. We're no longer that. We don't feel that way. We don't resonate with who that being is. We don't talk the same. We don't think the same. We don't want to participate in the gossiping and the judging and the, busting the balls of your you don't feel like that is who you are anymore, but that's who they expect you to be. So you're going to pull back. That's okay. This is going to work really well for you. When you pull back and you don't have everybody else's noise, that's when you can really find your true self. What is coming up from within you that is your true self that has been shoved down for however long? So your divine masculines going through this, they're not falling apart. They're cracking open. And their true self is coming up and out to be received well. That's the key for us. And we have to remember we have to descend in the crumbling in order to ascend in our rebirth. We got to know what the bottom is, fall apart, put the really valuable pieces back together, and let go what doesn't work for us anymore so that we can ascend. Those new sovereign identities form from the quiet, the slow, methodical moments that we spend inside out, looking inside, not looking outside. And these are some very important truths. Your new identity does not come from force, willpower, discipline, figuring it out, pressure, performance, or external vices. It's not going to be found in a whiskey bottle or a beer bottle or any of that stuff. Caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, all those invite in negative energy whenever you're less aware. Those are not solutions because this is not a problem. This is an evolution. What it does, your new identity from your evolution in your highest and best good does come from being an embodied presence with emotional flow. That means you're allowing the flow to go through your system where you feel elated, you feel bliss, you feel sadness, you cry unexpectedly, and you let it happen without apology. You have inner clarity, self honesty, you're gentle with yourself. No, punching yourself in the face. Like, why can't you just think like you used to? Why can't you just get it together? That's not going to help you. This is not a beat ourselves up kind of moment. We want to just breathe. We want to be truthful. Look in the mirror. I'm changing. I mean, we all change. It's okay. You have to normalize it. You have to make it all right. That's the point of saying allowing the growth to happen. Feeling instead of suppressing is a good thing, and let yourself be human, not perfect. Perfection is a false construct, in case you haven't figured that out. People that are trying to become perfect in everything and have perfect things all around them are literally on a hamster wheel inside of a cage. They're never going to be perfect. Their things are never going to be perfect. Their children are never going to be perfect. They're going to spend all their life's energy on an unobtainable goal and miss out on living. Now, your new sovereign identity starts to awaken, and it feels like a new muscle that's kind of waking up that has been really ignored for a very, very long time. And it slowly starts to awaken and it slowly starts to strengthen the more that you allow it to work and the more that you allow it to flex. But you're not failing. You're not failing. You're expanding. You're growing. You're getting stronger in who you truly are and the soul you truly are meant to embody. The masculine has been caught between two selves, the one conditioned to perform with the mask on and conform to all of society's expectations, which are based on lies, and the one that the soul is calling them home. And that is where they live, in that in-between moment. That is the in-between space. But in that space is where rebirth happens. And it's getting good. I'll see you again next time.